Hello, kids. How are we doing today? I'm sure we're having a nice time. We're looking at a very simple topic, ratio. And after the end of the topic, I'm sure you'll be glad you're part of this class. I'm sure you're familiar with these. What's this? I'm sure you want one. Good. This is pin pop. I have two of it here. I also have this, chlorets, for fresh breath. Now, I have three chlorets here. On my left hand are two lollipops, and on my right are three chlorets. I remember talking to my wife during the festive period in December, Christmas, and she brought this bowl, and I asked her what was it. She said, the mudu. You can see it on the mudu. It's used for measurement, used in the marketplace, used in when you want to buy things like rice, beans. So she had a measure of this, and she told me something. She wanted to make chin-chin. She measured one of these into a bowl. So let's assume, kids, that this is flour in our mudu. So take a measure and turn it into a bowl. And when she did that, she brought out 2 eggs. After this class, we're going to make chin-chin. I'm sure most of you want to eat some. Good. Now she broke 2 eggs into one measure of bowl. She said for every measure of flour, I beg your pardon, for every measure of flour, 2 eggs. For every measure of flour, 2 eggs. So we have 2 measures of flour. How many eggs would that be? I guess it's 4. Good. Now what we are doing here, we are comparing quantities. First of all, we looked at lollipops. Next, chlorets. We had 2 lollipops and 3 chlorets. A measure of flour and 2 eggs. Next, I like Golden Morn breakfast. Good. When I take Golden Morn, 1 touch, I make use of 2 Loya milk. So when you're comparing quantities, you say you are doing ratio. So for every 1 sach of Golden Morn, we have 2 Loya milk. For every 1 sach of Golden Morn, we have 2 Loya milk. So we have 2 sachets of Golden Morn. How many sachets of Loya milk do we have? We use 4. Good. When you're comparing quantities, we say we are doing ratio. Now, ratio can be seen in measurement when you bake. Ask bakers when you cook. For every 4 cups of rice you make for the family, you need maybe a teaspoon of salt. When you do this, you say you're doing ratio. And like we have here, like I've written here, I said ratio is comparing 2 or more quantities. The symbol for ratio is colon, these 2 points here. That's the symbol for ratio. Now, for example, when you have A ratio B, is read as A ratio B, that's it. A column, these 2 columns here means ratio, is read as A is to B. Now, there are some certain things you have to clarify here, I put down here. I said that when writing ratio, make sure they are in the same units. Very, very important. The next thing is, they are in correct order and in a simplified manner. So what's ratio class? Ratio is comparing quantities of the same unit. So we're looking at simplifying ratios. From the previous class we just had, we saw that ratio can be written as A to B. Ratio, I like us to note something here. Ratio can be written as a fraction. And how do you do that? It's going to be the first number over the second. So write this as a fraction. It's going to be A over B. So if you have 3 ratio 4, how do you write that as a fraction? Can you write that on your book? That gives us 3 over 4. Good. Now, how do we simplify ratio? So simplify ratio, these are just little points to note. So simplify ratio means write the ratio as a fraction. That's the first thing. The next thing is reduce the fraction to its lowest term. Then write the reduced form back in ratio. I'd like us to look at a brief example. Assuming in your class, your school, you have 15 girls and there are 20 boys. So girls is 15. And boys is what? 20. How do we write this as a ratio? The ratio of girls to boys, ratio boys is going to be what? 15 ratio 20. This is a ratio. So the next thing is as a fraction. As a fraction, what do we do? The first instruction says, can I read that? I can't hear you. Write the ratio as a fraction. So this will be 15 over 20. Are we good? The next thing, reduce the fraction to its lowest term. Then write the reduced form in ratio. Good. So what's the common factor? I'm sure somebody's saying 5 there. Yes, 5. So 5 here gives us 3, and 5 here gives us what? 4. Now our reduced form is 3 over 4. Then we write back. After reducing, we write back as a ratio. So this gives us 3 ratio 4. Therefore, the ratio of girls to boys in the school is 3 ratio 4.